chapter 3, beginning with verse 1. The saying is sure. Whoever aspires to the office of overseer desires a noble task. Now, an overseer must be above reproach, married only once, temperate, sensible, respectable, hospitable, an apt teacher, not a drunkard, not violent but gentle, not quarrelsome, and not a lover of money. He or she must manage the household well, keeping the children submissive and respectful in every way. For if someone does not know how to manage the household, how can that one take care of God's church? They must not be a recent convert or puffed up with conceit and fall into condemnation of the devil. Moreover, this one must be well thought of by outsiders, so that they may not fall into disgrace and the snare of the devil. Deacons likewise must be serious, not double-tongued, not indulging in much wine. I mentioned that a couple of times. Not greedy for money. They must hold fast to the mystery of the faith with a clear conscience, and let them first be tested. Then, if they prove themselves blameless, let them serve as deacons. Don't get thrown off by this, because this is an inclusive statement. Women, likewise, must be serious, not slanderers, but temperate, faithful in all things. Let deacons be married only once, and let them manage their children and their households well. For those who serve well as deacons gain a good standing for themselves and great boldness in the faith that is in Jesus Christ. I hope to come to you soon, but I am writing these instructions to you so that if I am delayed, you may know how one ought to behave in the household of God, which is the church of the living God, the pillar and bulwark of the truth. Without any doubt, the mystery of our religion is great. Thus ends the reading of the word.
Praise be to God.
You know, this sounds like the book of discipline, to be quite honest with you. But how many of you read Charles Dickens? How many of you read Bleak House? There's a character in Bleak House by the name of Mr. Turveydrop. Mr. Turveydrop is known in all the circles of the world as a man of deportment. His manners are perfect. He deports himself perfectly, and everybody thinks he is this incredibly wondrous man because of his good manners and deportment. He takes himself around town, deporting himself perfectly. His son works 12 hours a day to support him. Miss Manners is someone to whom we write in the newspaper. Miss Manners is the one who tells us how it is we should deport ourselves in this life, how it is we should make decisions that are appropriate, decisions that are fair to all people, that will take care of our concerns. We write her letters and say, how many invitations am I supposed to send out? How many thank you notes? What's the timeline on the number of thank you notes that I have to send? When I get married, how much time do I have before those thank you notes have to go out? Miss Manners is the one who gives us all that information and helps us deport ourselves in society appropriately. This third chapter of that first letter to Timothy is quite intriguing because it almost sounds like something straight out of the book of discipline of the United Methodist Church. Oh, wait a minute, I think it is. There's a complete list of behaviors and qualities that John Wesley outlines in his writings. As a matter of fact, it's long. So I'll only lift up a couple. Be diligent. Never be unemployed a moment. Never be triflingly employed. In other words, be employed importantly. Never while away your time. Spend no time more than any place that is strictly necessary. Be serious. Sounds like this letter, doesn't it? Believe evil of no one. Speak evil of no one. Tell everyone what you think wrong in him. And that plainly and soon as may be, else it will fester in your heart. Be ashamed of nothing but sin. Take no money of anyone. If they give you food when you are hungry or clothes when you need them, that's good. But not silver or gold. Let there be no pretense to say we grow rich by the gospel. Contract no debt without my knowledge. That's specifically to John. Be punctual. Act in all things accordingly. Manage temporal things of society. Oh, here, this is for stewards. Receive the weekly contributions of the leaders of the classes. Send relief to the poor. See to it that the public buildings are kept clean and in good repair. Well, it goes on. There is a list of behaviors, literally behaviors, that we who call ourselves Methodists are to be about, which is adapted and taken from the letters of Paul, from the Gospels. This passage talks about the overseer and the deacon. The word for overseer in Greek is episkope. It is translated, if you look at in your Bible, in the NRSV as bishop. But I didn't use the word bishop, I used overseer, which is also a proper translation, because when we think of bishop, we think of somebody in all sorts of fancy vestments with lots of gold braid. But, the proper word for the Pope, does anybody know what the proper title of the Pope is? The Bishop of Rome. That's the proper title of the Pope. So when we think of bishop, we're thinking of people with mitres and shepherd's crooks and fancy things. But not here. Here, it is the overseer of the household. Now, isn't that interesting that they use the word household? But the churches weren't buildings like this. There weren't buildings for people to worship in, to come in like this. They were people's homes. It was a house. So the metaphor for the church then is a household. Run the household well, like you would run your own household, responsibly. Run the household, manage the household properly. That's the job of the overseer.